A very good evening, dear colleagues here with us in Kazakhstan. A very good afternoon, very good morning to colleagues connecting elsewhere on the globe. You are with us for an interesting session on connectivity and how to provide accessible, high-speed internet for everyone. My name is Arthur van Diesen. I'm the representative of UNICEF here in Kazakhstan. UNICEF, as you know, is the United Nations Children's Fund. And you may ask yourself, why would an organization like UNICEF be interested in the topic of connectivity? And the answer really is quite simple. Children spend a lot of time online. Children learn online, children socialize online, they network online, they play online, and increasingly they also form their identity online. And actually, it's incredibly important for children nowadays to be connected. And that, of course, became very clear during the period of COVID-19, when suddenly schools had to close and children were forced to learn remotely. We saw during that period that not being connected to the internet is actually a serious setback. If you do not have an internet connection, if you do not have a gadget, if you have an impairment that stops you from using some of these connectivity tools, then you're at a serious setback. So the digital divide is real, and it's really an obstacle for children. Now, as UNICEF, we've been focusing particularly on connecting schools in Kazakhstan and around the world. We have a dream to connect every single school in the world to broadband internet and every learner in these schools to meaningful digital learning. Kazakhstan, of course, has made tremendous progress in connecting its schools. The vast majority of schools is connected to the internet. But there are still problems even also in Kazakhstan. So we found that about half of the schools in Kazakhstan is actually connected at a speed of less than 10 megabit per second. And 10 megabit per second is actually the minimum threshold we consider for meaningful connectivity. We also find that there is often quite a difference between the contractual internet speed and the actual internet speed that is realized within schools. So even within Kazakhstan, the digital gap is still there. So it matters for children. Of course, it matters for the adult population as well. Today, we have a fantastic panel of speakers for you. First of all, we're going to turn to His Excellency, the Vice Minister of Digital Development, Innovations and Aerospace Industry, Mr. Malik Oljabekov, who is going to set out Kazakhstan's ambitions in terms of connectivity, the approach they're wishing to take in order to get everyone connected to high-speed internet, and of course some of the challenges that are encountered in that. So without further ado, Honorable Vice Minister, over to you, please.
Thank you, Mr. Van Diesen. I don't know if the slides are there. I prepared some slides. So I just want to start from expressing the gratitude for the organizers for inviting for such event and having me as a speaker here. And I would like to wish all the participants of the conference successful work and achievement of intended results. And one of the key priorities of our ministry is the issue of providing all the Kazakhstani citizens with access to the internet. And this task is actually complicated by several factors at once. Firstly, it's a long distance between the settlements, which makes construction and maintenance of the infrastructure is quite costly in terms of time actually consuming and the finance consuming, financially expensive. And secondly, it's the low population density in Kazakhstan, which in some villages actually reaches the several dozen of households, which makes it actually economically unprofitable for telecom operators to do the business there in those small villages and build infrastructure. Now we have about 6,500 settlements in Kazakhstan. A bit more than 100 of them is the cities, and the rest of them are villages. And actually, now access to the internet is provided by two main infrastructure projects in Kazakhstan. One of them is the building of fiber optic infrastructure. Another project is actually providing the connectivity through mobile broadband access. These two projects have provided over 5,000 villages with internet access, and still we have a bit more than 1,000 villages that are most remote from the existing infrastructure and are still not connected. Most of those villages, I mean, the population in these villages usually doesn't exceed 250 people. Therefore, the construction of fiber optics is not cost effective in that case. For those villages, we consider using the satellite technologies. And actually, okay, I will explain that slide because it doesn't show proper way. Speaking about the satellite technologies, there are several approaches depending on the orbit used. System can be divided into geostationary, medium, and low orbit. We can note that geostationary satellites allow the use of actually easy to use and relatively cheap ground equipment. And such satellites, I mean the geostationary satellites, being in significant distance from the Earth, they providing the opportunity to cover the large and vast territories on the Earth. But they also have their disadvantages, the main of which is the latency reaching up to 700 milliseconds. On the other hand, the medium and low orbit satellites allow us a significant reduction of the latency. In the case of the LEO satellite constellation, it go up to down to 50 milliseconds, which is at the same level on the fiber optics. But they require more technologically complex user terminals, the user equipment, which makes them quite expensive and expensive, I mean, on the side of the subscribers. And because the in relation to the subscriber on the ground, the satellites on the medium and low orbit are constantly moving. Oh, yeah. Sorry for that. The Kazakhstan actually has now two communication satellites, KASAT-2 and KASAT-3 satellite. These satellites provide both the data transmission and the broadband services on the whole territory of Kazakhstan. They are also used to provide internet access to remote villages in cooperation with mobile operators at the moment. However, the resources of these satellites are limited, and it's not possible to provide internet access to all target those 1,000 villages. Therefore, we began to closely study the possibilities of medium and low orbit satellite system. If you actually refer to the world statistics on the number of orders for the satellite production, we can observe that there is a trend in development of non-geostationary small satellites. And on the other hand, we can see that the orders for traditional geostationary satellites have decreased significantly over the last 3 years. Of course, this doesn't mean that geostationary satellites will become a matter of past, but I mean, especially in Kazakhstan, we plan to continue our national satellite program on the geostationary orbit, but with a greater focus on the improving of technical solutions that will allow us to both improve the service quality and reduce the cost of service providing. This slide actually shows the main characteristics of the most famous known geostationary satellite systems that we were studying the last few years. We can see that the use of these systems to solve the issue of providing the internet access to those 1,000 villages. And we are now at the moment, we are on negotiation stage with OneWeb, SES and SpaceX. Together with our partners, we're looking for a solution, the cost-effective solution. The key requirement for the legalization of this system in Kazakhstan is actually compliance with the requirement of national legislation in the field of communications and information security. If we turn to the policy documents, we will find that the task to provide the remote villages with internet access is reflected in several documents, actually. First, and the main of them is actually the national project technological breakthrough through digitalization, science, and innovation. At the end of last year, with the support of our partners, OneWeb and SES, we managed to demonstrate the capabilities of non-geostationary satellite system. The results fully met our expectations, actually, and confirmed in practice the capabilities of the system to meet the challenges of organizing access to the internet in the villages. Therefore, taking this opportunity, I'd like to express our gratitude to SES and OneWeb for the organization of the demonstration. From our side, the ministry is making efforts to create conditions for the NGSO systems effectively operating in Kazakhstan. First of all, we are talking about establishing a fee for the use of frequencies at the level allowing organizing cost-effective services in Kazakhstan. And secondly, in the package of legislative amendments, we promote the possibility of providing 90% discount for 5 years on a payment for use of radio frequencies for telecom operators that will actually commit to provide internet access for those 1,000 villages. And we expect that these norms and regulations will come into force at the from the 1st of January 2023. We already passed the procedures within the parliament, and yeah, the 1st of January will be the date when those norms will be brought into use. This slide actually shows the basic concept of organizing access to the internet in those remote villages. This scheme involves the placement of satellite user terminal in the village and organizing access for the subscribers in the village through the last mile equipment, giving that these villages have a small number of residents. We assume that the implementation of such project will require state support in the form of funding. And we are now at the stage of feasibility study with the companies like SES and OneWeb, and considering their commercial proposal to that project. That's all from my side. Thank you. If you have any questions, I'm ready to answer.
Thank you so much, Vice Minister Ozherbekov, for setting out the ambition, but also the challenge. In a country like Kazakhstan, such a vast territory, large areas that are so sparsely populated, the dream is to provide internet connectivity of a decent speed to everyone. We need, in order to get there, technological innovation as well as financial innovation. Now, when it comes to the technological innovation, we are very fortunate to have some of the industry leaders with us today, including 2 companies that have actually already been working, as the Vice Minister already indicated. So we'll start with SES. We're very fortunate to have both the CEO and the CFO of SES with us. The CEO, Steve Koller, is with us online, and the CFO, Sandeep Jalan, who has a long history with Kazakhstan, is with us in person. So let me hand over first of all to Steve Koller to introduce SES as a company, and then we'll hear further from Sandeep about the work they've been doing in Kazakhstan. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Arthur, and good evening, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Perfect. Well, it's a real pleasure to be with you. Sorry I can't be with you in person, but I have to tell you that my presentation is going to be short because, Arthur, in your introduction and also Your Excellency in your description of both the challenges and the opportunities for Kazakhstan, I think you've done a fantastic job in setting the scene. So I'm going to introduce you briefly to SES, talk to you about why we've chosen the combination of geostationary and medium Earth orbit satellites and why we think this is a great solution for Kazakhstan. So if somebody could line up the slides, I'm going to start my slides on page 2 of our presentation. And this just describes SES and where, our background. We're a 35-year-old satellite operator. We're the leading global satellite operator, and we have a long history of operating in Kazakhstan. We've been partnering with telcos and other service providers in Kazakhstan for more than 20 years. We have 60% of our business dedicated to providing broadcast, and 365 million households, more than 1 billion people across the globe rely on SES every day for their video content. But on the network side, and this is really where we have relevance for Kazakhstan and digital Kazakhstan, we have a growing business. More than 40% of our business is dedicated to delivering network solutions across the globe. We have more than $10 billion invested in our infrastructure, and all of that orientated around delivering experiences to end users. And Arthur, you made the point right up front that the COVID period has really shown us the importance of being connected. If you are connected, you have access to the world's business, to the world's library, to the world's education systems, to all of the environments that you can find online. And if you're not connected, that divide continues to increase. So if I move to slide 3 of our presentation, this sort of describes the architecture that we've chosen. And again, the Vice Minister did a fantastic job in explaining the differences between the orbits. And they all have merits and they all have drawbacks. And we've built our architecture around geostationary satellites, where we have more than 50 satellites in orbit and deployed, and medium Earth orbit. And it's medium Earth orbit that we think can be a fantastic anchor for the Digital Kazakhstan program. And we consider it to be really the sweet spot between geostationary and low Earth orbit, because you're close enough to the Earth to remove latency as a barrier to communications, but you're far enough away from the Earth that the technical complexity is much, much lower. And that's shown by the fact that we've been operating in medium Earth orbit for more than a decade and delivering services on a global basis, very similar to the ones that we propose for Digital Kazakhstan. And if I move to slide 4, the most exciting thing for us that's happening in the second half of this year is the launch of our 2nd generation system. So we already have 20 satellites in medium Earth orbit delivering services around the globe today. But we've invested in a brand new system, which is complementary, but a huge extension of our medium Earth orbit capability. It's called O3b mPOWER. It's a more than $2 billion investment. And we start to launch from Cape Canaveral, where I am today. We're launching another satellite today, but we start to launch the O3b mPOWER constellation within the next 2 months. And it will be on station and available for service in the very early part of 2023. And so why is it such a big step forward? You get all of the same benefits of the O3B system, so the low latency, the high throughput, but we're also now able to deliver much more cost effectively to many, many more endpoints, which is perfect for the Kazakhstan and the collections of towns and villages that the Vice Minister was describing. Importantly, we guarantee the service level that we're delivering. And so it's like fiber. It's like fiber delivered over satellite with the same quality of experience, the same Ethernet grade services. Importantly, everything is anchored by an in-country gateway. And again, that's very important for all of the requirements associated with the program. And it's important for every country to have a level of sovereignty. And with O3B Empower, Kazakhstan can effectively own and operate its own system with the support of SES. And the network responds dynamically to the requirements that it sees. So if certain towns and villages don't require connectivity, but others require more, we can dynamically shift the amount of capability that's distributed across the network. And then the last slide from me, this is not the first time that we will be deploying these sorts of networks. Importantly, we have very similar projects currently operational in Indonesia, in Colombia, and in Greenland. Just 3 examples of tens of different networks where we're connecting remote islands with fiber-like carrier-grade connectivity. We're connecting towns and villages and enabling people, in many cases, to be connected for the first time. And we're using our technology, the combination of geostationary and medium Earth orbit, to allow populations to be connected and to reduce this digital divide that we still see present in the world. And so with that, I'm going to hand over locally to Sandeep for the last couple of slides there in Sultan.
Thank you very much, Steve. Good afternoon, everybody. Very, very pleased to be here. As Arthur said, it's like homecoming for me here. I lived in Kazakhstan like 20 years back, so very pleased to be here in town with all of you today. So as His Excellency was mentioning earlier, there is a national project to connect remote 617 villages in the country with fiber-like connectivity. And having worked around many, many similar countries and similar situations, our team have been working very dedicatedly with our local partners, RCSC, over the last 4 years to develop the most optimal solution for this project. And as Steve was saying earlier, with our MEO, we have a very, very unique solution which is geared to provide low latency and high capability offering, where we are already going into second generation with our $2 billion launches going into space. And we will be ready to fully deploy those services by middle of next year. And this is not only the most reliable and most capable and most innovative solution, but also a very cost-effective solution, as Steve was explaining earlier. We will also have the in-country gateways in Kazakhstan, which will provide not only the services within Kazakhstan, but also within Central Asia, enforce digital leadership for Kazakhstan. We have also been working with MNOs, and this solution will also provide backhaul solution, increasing the resilience of the solution offered by MNOs in the countries. So we are very happy with the demonstration that we did in 2 remote villages, which are in Akterek and Beriktas near Almaty. This demonstration, it was happening at the peak of winter between November last year to January. And almost 150 people were connected with this during this period of more than 2.5 months. And the outcome of this demonstration was very, very positive because we reached really record speeds of 380 megabits per second for the downlink and 120 megabits for the uplink. So very happy with the outcome of those results. And we have further tested with the MNOs, KCell on 2G, 3G, and 4G, and Beeline as well on 3G and 4G solutions. So having gone through this demonstration, we are very, very confident that MEO solution really provides the right solution to meet the expectations of the country to connect its remote villages. So once again, what I would say that Mio solution is really one of the most innovative solution, having very satisfied customers across the globe for last 7-8 years. It's really field proven. Now we are going into the second gen, which will be operational in less than a year. And we really believe that this provides the unmatched capabilities that no other solution provides today, and fiber-like connectivity to the remote villages. I would like to show you now a video about Empower and its capabilities. So if we can play the video.
No matter who you are, no matter your story, there's a question we're all asking ourselves. Do I have the bandwidth to deliver, scale, expand, optimize, de-risk, compete, succeed, smoother, faster, better, anywhere, at all times, in any situation? We do, because we deliver certainty, freedom, and control better than anyone on proven technology. We've built and evolved with the best partners in the world. Our trust is not given, it's earned. Risk is not a game we play. Mission critical is not a catchphrase. Unrivaled scale, unprecedented flexibility, superior performance, giving you total control of your network. This is not an overstatement. This is not exaggeration. This is O3B Empower. In a world of science fiction, we deliver science fact. Right now, today. So you can win the future. So, if you have the bandwidth, you shouldn't have to ask. O3B Empower. Empower your story.
Thank you very much. So I'll hand over back to Arthur.
Thank you so much, Steve and Sandeep, for this brilliant presentation. We have another industry leader with us today, and that is OneWeb. And from OneWeb, we have Dimitri Vedlugin, the Market Access Advisor. Dimitri, the floor is yours to explain to us the work that OneWeb has been doing.
Thanks, Chairman. First of all, I would like to thank AFC for organizing this event and providing us with the opportunity to speak about OneWeb solutions for provisions of connectivity services in remote locations. I'd like also to thank the Ministry of Digital Development for all the work that they are doing to enable access of new satellite systems to Kazakhstan market. So the so-called digital divide between those with access to fast broadband and those without it is persistent and likely to widen. To help plug this terrestrial gap, mobile operators have turned to satellite backhaul. Though not all satellite services can support the push to mobile broadband services. Standard 4G services such as voice over LTE require latency no higher than 150 milliseconds. The latency of typical one-way connection from user to ISP via geostationary satellite networks can range between 500 to 700 milliseconds. Low Earth orbit satellites are 1,200 kilometers from Earth and significantly increase bandwidth and reduce latency in space to around 50 to 70 milliseconds. LEO also can offer a truly global service. As geosatellites are located around the equator, their coverage of the Earth's surface is constrained. LEO, on the other hand, can cover everywhere, including polar regions, and provide backup to fiber and microwave radio links. There is a growing awareness of the satellite technology's potential to move from a backup system to a mainstream connectivity tool and address digital divide. Modern technologies and customer expectations command for good connectivity and result in services that require continuous or on-demand data. By using satellite technology, rural communities and remote industries are no longer left in technological void, reliant on slow and expensive terrestrial network development to improve their connectivity. Connectivity solutions have extended to maximize the technology experience. Today, satellite technology is not only to connect people and IoT, it also connects infrastructure. OneWeb's unparalleled system being built to supply broadband-style data speeds to every corner of the world, even the most remote. Low latency, high-speed connectivity through space is a game changer for the future of communications. We have teamed with leading partners around the world to design, manufacture, and deliver to partners a growing range of user terminals for fixed and mobility hardware solutions. Installation and maintenance of our user terminals does not require special engineering skills, and therefore the speed of their deployment is significantly reduced. OneWeb's device hub equips partners with remote access to and control of their user terminals, as well as the ability to view near real-time data using industry-leading technology, run firmware, and carry out diagnostic checks. This helps reduce the need and cost for in-person service. Service Hub provides our partners with access to product and service support, a knowledge base, and the ability to proactively monitor and resolve incidents. Our product portfolio is structured in such a way that it can support needs of different clients. We are able to support various traffic profiles with different quality of service requirements. Moreover, one user terminal can support various network slices within one product to cover different needs. OneWeb technology is built with the use of 3GPP standards, and therefore we are capable to augment the existing infrastructure of traditional telecommunications operators. This allows us to play even more important role in the rollout of 4G and 5G services. We are able to integrate fully into the network infrastructure and allow users to roam between mobile and satellite networks seamlessly, as the situation may require, without disrupting any services or additional fixed infrastructure. Connectivity is the lifeblood of business for millions of companies today. With it, they can sell products and services to customers and interact with them in real time. Companies also rely on connectivity to collaborate with supply chains, clients, and government. And with many applications now in the cloud, connectivity is central to many lines of business operation. If the connectivity fails, businesses will be severely affected, losing money, reputations, and customers. Without network connectivity, many communication services, including phone communications, email, and chat, will also be disrupted. Any network is at threat of interruption, but the chance is higher in remote locations, where connectivity can be poor and affected by frequent power cuts. On top of this, business operations located in remote rural locations often still lack modern infrastructure or skilled technical staff. LEO satellite connectivity can provide businesses of all sizes with the continuity and resilience they need to keep operations up and running no matter where they are located. With low latency and high throughput, our network can support essential data-heavy systems and solutions. Crucially, LEO can be used as a reliable backup, primary, or hybrid connection to meet the demands of modern business. Mobile internet penetration worldwide remained at about 50%. Around 3 billion adults in the world live outside of 3G or 4G signal range. Bringing terrestrial links to remote areas to extend network coverage can often be cost prohibitive. Remote connectivity faces barrier the form of large geographic distances between the coverage area and nearest service hubs, complex terrain, and obstacles like forests, mountains, or lakes. In addition, the low population density and socioeconomic factors potentially imply that the average revenue per mobile cell site will be much lower than in urban environments. LEO satellite connectivity can lower the financial hurdles that exist for providing rural coverage by overcoming the geographical and distant factors through the availability of connectivity across all locations at a cost-effective price. This allows base stations in remote locations to have the necessary backhaul to deliver a service that adds value to the lives of end customers. The traditional perception is that the satellite technology is an expensive solution for connectivity, but everything is different with OneWeb. On the next two slides, you will see that OneWeb solution is more effective in terms of TCO than traditional microwave backhaul or VSAT. Compared to the most alternative for the microwave links, the TCO of OneWeb solution is 70% lower. If we are talking about VSAT backhaul, it should be noted that it is impossible to support 4G services with it due to the latency limitations. Therefore, our solution is a key to upgrade to 4G there with TCO that is up to 60% lower than most VSAT deployments. And in the conclusion, I would like to say that OneWeb now is completing the construction of our satellite network portal in Kazakhstan that will serve the Kazakhstan and the whole Central Asia. And I think in the next year, we'll be able to bring the connectivity to this location which are unconnected or underconnected. Thanks.
Thank you very much indeed, Dimitri. So it's really exciting to hear about all these technological innovations and all that is possible now through satellite connectivity. But of course, what we all realize is that in order to realize that dream of universal connectivity, we're going to have a portfolio of different approaches. So therefore, it's great to now be able to hand over to Yerlan Minavar, who is the Deputy Chairman of the Board of Transtelecom. And he will tell us more about synergy points of existing infrastructure and new technologies. Yerlan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Arthur. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much to the organizers of this amazing event. And thank you for the audience for joining us this late. I know we're competing with dinner and happy hour, so I'll try to keep this very brief. I'm not sure where the clicker is in the presentation, but I'll just get to it. So I'll tell you a few words about Transtelecom, then I'll tell you a couple words about what we're doing to battle digital inequality in Kazakhstan and some of the challenges and the good things that the regulator is helping us with in our way forward. So Transtelecom, we're one of the largest telcos, not only in Kazakhstan, but in the region. Not sure, okay, there we go. We currently own and operate more than 24,000 kilometers of our own fiber optic line. We have more than 3,500 people, close to 4,000 people in all areas of Kazakhstan. So we're present in all 14 Kazakhstan regions. As of recently, we are the leaders in cloud space because we recently launched seven new data centers, which brings our current data center ownership up to 10 all over the country. So we're basically well positioned to bring connectivity and digital services to large enterprises, to the government, to small, medium businesses, and we obviously service the Kazakhstan population. And one of our missions is to bring digital prosperity to all of Kazakhstanis. So in terms of our experience with battling digital inequality, right, we are one of the operators of a large private-public program that the government launched a few years ago, where we brought broadband connectivity to rural areas. Basically, it was between us and a large telco, our main large telco, Kazakhstan. The ministry gave us an order, right, to basically split the country. We got a list of 431 rural areas with 250 plus people, and we brought broadband, we brought fiber optic connectivity to all of those villages. And under this program, we connected more than 1,200 points. So basically, we connected all the government administrative buildings, all the hospitals, all the police stations, and this was a very large initiative where we built a brand new more than 6,000 kilometers of brand new fiber optic lines. And then the question was, once we got to the government buildings, right? The question is, how do we get that connectivity to all the individuals, to all the people, to all the students, to all the workers in these villages? And I'll speak about the challenges in a bit. But what we did was we actually launched a program, a very successful program, where we not only brought connectivity, but we also promoted entrepreneurship in the rural areas, because what we said was that, okay, we brought this broadband connectivity to the government building, and now in order to provide this access layer to actually bring the internet to the people, we invited all the local entrepreneurs, all the local dealers to come and share the infrastructure, right? So one of the main access technologies that is actually that financially works in remote areas under the Kazakhstan regulatory framework is using radio relay or fixed wireless access. So we actually have more than 40 dealers all over the country, basically in all the villages that we operate in, where we have local entrepreneurs bringing connectivity to all the households, and basically we split, we provide a very good revenue share opportunities where we take on all the infrastructure needs, all the OSS, BSS, basically operation support and billing support requirements on the side of Transtelecom, and the local dealer just needs to come and bring the connectivity to the household and actually have that personal touch with the local households, with the rural population. But we came to this program because of some of the challenges that we faced. Because actually one of the most efficient ways is actually to just put a mobile network operator base station in a village and start providing 4G, 3G, 5G services. But what we faced was a regulatory framework where spectrum was not being shared in the most inclusive way. So we actually worked with the regulator, and I want to actually applaud the Ministry of Digital Development on all the progress that they've done in terms of trying to liberalize the access to spectrum in Kazakhstan. And basically, historically, what we've been seeing is that in Kazakhstan there are two large mobile network operators. Like Kazakhtelecom Group and then Beeline, right? But we looked at global cases, and in order for connectivity to succeed, and especially in rural areas, it is very beneficial to liberalize the spectrum access and introduce, mobile virtual network operator regulation, and allow access to not only incumbents but also newcomers, and that will also help promote future connectivity and local entrepreneurship, and that's what we've been working with the ministry, and they've actually they've done a tremendous progress introducing new auction laws. And we're looking forward that towards the end of the year in 2023 we will see new more liberalized laws coming into place, and then we'll have actually hopefully we'll have more mobile network operators bringing more connectivity in not only in the rural areas but better connectivity in the cities. And in terms of satellites, my colleagues earlier who are
much more experienced than us in geo and non-geo satellites have extensively spoken about the technology. But we also we operate our own geostationary satellite hub. We use Kazsat to provide connectivity to enterprises and remote areas. Obviously, my colleague spoke about the technological limitations. On the geo side, you can provide up to 10, 12 megabit per second connectivity, and that's the service that we offer now. It's expensive, so we're quite familiar with SES, OneWeb, SpaceX, and we've been working with them to bring them to Kazakhstan. And I also want to applaud my colleague Mr. Olzhabekov, and on the progress that they've made, because we've been working with OneWeb since the very beginning to try to bring them to Kazakhstan. We've been working with our colleagues in SpaceX and SES, and all these regulatory hurdles. It's very exciting to see that they actually they bubbled up to the surface, right? So my colleague spoke about the regulation that spectrum access to the satellites have to be liberalized. Some of the licensing situation around the satellite connectivity has to be liberalized. Some of the regulatory requirements they have to be made more lax, and it's very good to see that the ministry not only heard from the market that all of these things had to be done in order to bring more benefit to our country, to help to help break this digital inequality, but they're actually actioning on it, and they're providing certain strict deadlines, and I'm just very excited to see how with the with the regulator, with the industry, with all the international players coming into Kazakhstan, we'll be able to take that leap forward in our digitalization and see our Digital Kazakhstan initiative to succeed. Yeah, I'm actually done. This is my last slide. I promise to be short. So thank you very much again. It's very exciting to see everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yerlan. So it's obvious to everyone, I think, the technical solutions are definitely there. Technical innovation is there. How do you make all of this affordable, and where is really the business case? Now, to get into that last topic, and I hope we can give a few extra minutes to our next speaker, we will hear from Mr. Kimbom Su, who is the interregional trade representative between Korea and Kazakhstan. And he will talk specifically about the opportunities that are unlocked by actually providing connectivity and relating that to his work in Kazakhstan and in Central Asia. Mr. Kimbom Su will speak in Korean with consecutive translation into Russian. Over to you, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
안녕하십니까.
Good afternoon. My name is Kim Bam-soo. I come from South Korea. I am the president of MT company and the chair of the board of Signal and MT. Also, I wanted to present my colleagues, co-founder Mr. Hantoro and Mr. Aksun Mo, the CEO of the company. Both are present here. To me, it's great honor and pleasure to attend this forum. And I'm slightly nervous. Please understand my psychological condition. And because many speakers here have shared a lot of useful content in my presentation, I would like to show you a business case as well as a video from which you will see how we successfully implemented our theory in practice. The key value of the fourth industrial revolution is in connecting all things to internet and using all data further in industry. Every country strives to become a part of the fourth industrial revolution. I wanted to show to you the example from healthcare. Particularly the pandemic situation emphasized the necessity of healthcare. To the merit of modern technology, a sick person can avoid visiting a hospital but receive diagnostics by means of a video communication. So let us take a look at the video, how it happens in Korea today. So you can diagnose yourself, receive medicines upon prescription from a doctor. The number of diagnostic sessions is in excess to 4 million. Those are diagnostic sessions without attending a hospital. So the world shall never be the same as was before the pandemic. This woman is telling how convenient it is to use modern technology, particularly in healthcare and transportation.
네, 지금 옆에서 통역하시는 분이 설명.
Despite the fact that we have had no sound, I hope you have heard everything in Russian. Healthcare may obtain investments from pharmaceutical companies. This is the area that requires investments into solutions, development, and improvement of the healthcare system. Today, across the globe, there are active investments into digital healthcare. We see the healthcare management and the data collected allow for leading healthy lifestyle and prolonging life expectancy. The second example is smart farming. Thanks to fast and efficient farm management, the control is easier. Now, time and space are no limits anymore.
이른 아침 비닐하우스 내 온도가 내려가자 농민이 스마트폰 앱으로 보온 덮개를 움직여 차가운 공기를 차단합니다. 팬을 돌려 적정 온도를 맞추는 일도 앱을 통해 이루어집니다.
여행지에서도 언제든지 농장 관리를 스마트폰으로 할 수 있다는 그 장점이 굉장히 좋습니다.
Blocking cold air via their smartphone application. Temperature control is also exercised via a mobile application. What you see is the interview with a Korean farmer who now has more free time within this limited space. This is a video from the news on January 19, when Korea was already struck by the pandemic. You may also consider the inflow of foreign investors eager to deal with farming and grow crops independently. Public-private partnerships, PPP, are also possible for meat processing businesses. The last example, the third one, is autonomous driving. As it's been mentioned previously, 5G is the summit because it requires stable connectivity for sensor connection and GIS. Let us watch the video first.
서울 강남의 대로를 택시 한 대가 부드럽게 달립니다. 운전대를 잡지 않았는데도 스스로 차선 변경은 물론이고 좌회전과 우회전, 유턴도 척척 해냅니다. 완전 무인 자율주행을 뜻하는 레벨 5 직전의 레벨 4, 즉 고도 자율주행 기술이 적용된 택시로 일반 택시처럼 실시간 교통 상황에 맞춰 경로를 바꿔가며 목적지까지 운행할 수 있습니다.
Full autonomous mode. The taxi chooses the route itself, considering the traffic situation. On June 22, the news reported about the fourth level generation. The feature was shot on Kandam-daro in Seoul, which is the busiest street in Seoul. And there is an innovative experiment being held in Korea to ensure the safe environment. And I would like to demonstrate the last video that was shot by the Korean government.
With vehicles. And based on the collision warnings, it supports the development of urban autonomous driving technologies. At bus and taxi stops, the possibilities of collisions are evaluated. The warning system guides the car to recognize bicyclists and jaywalking pedestrians and avoid collision situations. It will detect pedestrians passing crosswalk and make braking decisions within safe distance. It evaluates the supporting functions at the merging section. On the main lane, it is evaluated whether the vehicle keeps its lane and distance by using an advanced driving assist system. It evaluates the functions for forward collision warnings and emergency braking. The driving assist system in congestion is evaluated, maintaining a distance from the car ahead and recognition on and response to cars suddenly cutting in. At toll gates, an assessment will be made on the perception of toll gates and the handling of situations where vehicles are in conflict with each other. At the roundabout, it evaluates the ability to decide on the priority among entering vehicles and to deal with possible collisions. At tunnels, an assessment will be made on environmental perception capabilities when driving through tunnels.
영상 소개 환경은 한국에서 현재
The territory shown in the video is 36 hectares, the major 20 hectares, an additional 16 hectares. This whole territory is used for R&D. This autonomous driving area may incentivize investments of automobile companies into facilities and a research institute. The relevant investments are investments into power plants, preparing for the increased number of electric vehicles. Many sectors in Korea are developing based on technologies of 4, 5, and 6G. The rapid development of Korea became possible because the country has taken prompt and precise efforts to ensure comfort. At the same time, under strict competition, the people wouldn't give up when facing challenges. I know that Kazakhstan possesses vast territory and there are specific features in every province. there is technological capabilities accumulated in many countries. Some other countries are only emerging and developing, but considering the specific features of each country, the relevant speeded up development model can be developed. It is expected that if high citizenship consciousness and their aspiration for better future will be harmonized, the entire world will be watching Kazakhstan developing. We have plans for more than 3 decades to participate in Kazakhstan's development. I would like to move forward step by step, ensuring Kazakhstan's economic leadership alongside with Korea. Thank you. Our first step is the signal exchange by Signal MMT. At the moment, the work on integration with second-tier banks have been finished, and the commercialization works are underway. I would like to thank my colleagues again, Mr. Hwan Chol-ho and Pak Son-ho, and the representative of Kim So-won, who supported me today. We will be working actively to expand our activities, including this fourth sector.
Mumsu, what you've done so brilliantly is to set out the business case as to why connectivity is so incredibly important. This dream of universal connectivity is no longer a dream. It is an absolute necessity in order to guarantee inclusive development. We've seen that the business case is there, the technology is there, the political will is there, the regulatory framework is being adjusted. We now need to make it happen. I would like to thank the Astana International Finance Center, the Tech Hub, for making this fantastic panel session possible today. And I would like to say to all of you, thanks for attending, thanks to all the panel speakers, and let's get to work to make this dream reality. Thank you so much.